Heggseth, and this is News Recap. No fluff, straight to the point. With the shutdown on the horizon, 100,000 federal workers could quit in the biggest exodus ever. Hegseth high-level military briefing ended up as a lecture on fitness and woke culture. Second detainee dies after deadly shooting at Dallas ICE facility. YouTube will pay Donald Trump $24 million. Washington is headed for a government shutdown at 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday if Congress can't reach a deal. Republicans want to extend funding for 7 weeks. Democrats say they won't agree unless health care subsidies for 22 million Americans are extended. Without it, insurance costs could spike next year. President Trump warned Democrats that a shutdown could let his administration take irreversible actions, including cutting programs important to them and reducing the federal workforce. If a deal isn't reached, nearly 500,000 federal workers could be furloughed. Service members would stay on duty without pay, and agencies could suspend non-essential services. Programs like public housing, Head Start, and some Medicare reimbursements could face delays. Airlines have also warned of possible disruptions. Lawmakers met on Monday but made very little progress. Trump posted a deepfake video mocking Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, which Democrats called racist. The two sides remain far apart, making a shutdown increasingly likely.
And we intend to fix it.
As a potential government shutdown looms, the Trump administration plans the largest mass resignation in U.S. history. About 100,000 employees are scheduled to leave on Tuesday under the Deferred Resignation Program, which offers up to 8 months of pay and benefits as a voluntary exit option. The program is part of Trump's effort to trim the federal workforce and cut costs. Officials say the departures could affect services across the government, including Social Security, veterans programs, and other critical agencies. Losing so many experienced employees at once could slow operations and limit government responsiveness during the shutdown. The resignations also have broader economic implications, with so many people entering the private job market at the same time. Competition for employment could spike, while federal operations may face a serious loss of institutional knowledge and expertise. While the Trump administration says this is a step toward a leaner, more efficient government, critics warn that timing could worsen the impact of a shutdown and disrupt services that millions of Americans rely on. A second detainee shot at an ICE facility in Dallas last week has died. 32-year-old Miguel Garcia Hernandez was removed from life support following the September 24th attack. ICE confirmed he died early Monday morning. Garcia Hernandez from Mexico was one of 3 detainees shot at the facility. Earlier, ICE confirmed that 37-year-old Norlan Guzman Fuente from El Salvador also died. A third detainee, Jose Bordones Molina of Venezuela, was injured, though details on his condition have not been released. No ICE officers were hurt in the attack. The shooter, Joshua John, died at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Garcia Hernandez's wife described him as a loving father and provider, saying the family had just bought their first home and were expecting their 5th child. She called his death a senseless tragedy that left their family shattered. Investigations are ongoing, led by DHS, ICE, and the Office of the Inspector General, as authorities work to understand how this tragedy unfolded. Last week, hundreds of senior military leaders were summoned to Quantico, Virginia, without explanation. Speculation ran wild. Now we know President Trump used the meeting to push a politically charged agenda, while Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced a broad crackdown on what he calls woke culture.
This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses.
Hegseth, a former Fox News personality and National Guard officer, spoke to senior military leaders, men and women, many with decades of experience, emphasizing discipline, fitness, and professional standards across the force.
But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it.
Hegseth also told commanders who disagree with his approach to do the honorable thing and step down. President Donald Trump announced a new plan to lower drug prices in the U.S., including a Trump RX website where Americans can buy medicines at discounted prices and a major agreement with Pfizer. Under the agreement, Pfizer will match the lowest prices it offers in other developed countries and provide the same pricing for new drugs sold to Medicaid. The company also plans to invest $70 billion in U.S. manufacturing. Trump has been pushing drug makers for months, saying Americans pay far more for the same medicines than people in other countries. In May, he ordered companies to lower prices or face possible consequences, including changes to FDA approvals. He also wants more direct-to-customer options, allowing patients to buy medicines without using insurance at lower costs. Some companies like Novo Nordisk already offer discounted programs for cash-paying customers. Experts warn, though, that forcing foreign price rules could backfire, and Trump cannot legally require drug makers to lower prices. Still, the White House says the goal is to give Americans more affordable access to prescription meds. New information has emerged about the deadly attack at a Mormon church in Grand Blanc, Michigan on Sunday. The gunman, 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford, rammed his pickup truck into the church, opened fire on worshipers, and set the building on fire. Police shot and killed Sanford outside the church after a brief gunfight. The first victim has been identified as 76-year-old John Bond, a Navy veteran and devoted grandfather. In total, 4 people were killed and at least 8 others were injured, including a 6-year-old child. 5 victims suffered gunshot wounds, while 3 were treated for smoke inhalation. Authorities have confirmed all congregants have been accounted for. Sanford, a former Marine deployed to Iraq in 2007, reportedly held a long-standing grudge against the LDS Church. Friends said he had spoken publicly about his hatred for Mormons for years, with one friend describing Sanford as claiming they were the Antichrist and going to take over the world. He previously dated an extremely religious Mormon woman in Utah, and friends say the breakup left him in rough shape. Local sources also said Sanford continued ranting about the church in the days before the attack. The FBI and other agencies are still investigating the shooting and have yet to publicly confirm a motive. New details also resurfaced on North Carolina restaurant shooting. Joy Rogers, a newly retired mother of 3, has been identified as one of the 3 people killed in Saturday night's mass shooting at the American Fish Company bar in Southport. Her husband, Lenny Rogers, described her as a devoted wife and loving mother who recently moved from California. Her church called and asked the public to keep the Rogers family in their prayers. The shooting, described by authorities as highly premeditated, happened around 9:30 p.m. as live music played at the waterfront restaurant. Police say 40-year-old Nigel Max Edge fired from a boat positioned near the deck, striking patrons as they scrambled to safety. Edge, a military veteran from Oak Island, was arrested after deputies tracked him to retrieve his boat trailer. He is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, and 5 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. Edge is considered a flight risk and danger to the community. He is due back in court on October 13th. The Trump administration is deporting 120 Iranians back to Iran on a U.S. chartered flight. The plane left Louisiana on Monday night and is expected to reach Iran via Qatar on Tuesday. U.S. officials say the deportations target people who are in the country without legal permission. Some crossed the border illegally. Others had applied for asylum but were denied or had not yet appeared before a judge. A few volunteered to leave after months in detention. This is one of the administration's most aggressive moves yet to deport migrants, even to countries with serious human rights concerns. For decades, the U.S. has offered refuge to Iranians fleeing political persecution, activists, journalists, and religious minorities. Iranian officials say another 400 deportations are planned in the coming months. They also say Iran will coordinate their returns and promises the deportees will be safe, though many remain scared. The deportations come as Iran faces a deep economic and energy crisis with rising inflation, high unemployment, and new United Nations sanctions taking effect this week. Louisiana is charging a California doctor for mailing abortion pills to a patient in the state. Court documents show a warrant that issued for Dr. Remy Cowito under Louisiana's abortion law that took effect after Roe v. Wade was overturned. The case is part of a bigger fight between states over telehealth abortion prescriptions. Pills are now the most common way abortions happen in the U.S., and use has grown even with state bans. Louisiana says Cowito sent abortion pills to a woman in 2023. The woman says she felt pressured to take the medicine and called the experience traumatic. Louisiana's Attorney General said the case is illegal, immoral, and unethical. Dr. Cowito also faces a lawsuit in Texas. Other cases involve doctors in New York, where state laws protect abortion providers who treat patients in states with strict bans. The battle over abortion pills is escalating. Louisiana and Texas are joining other states to challenge federal approval of mifepristone, the main drug used in medication abortions. Federal prosecutors want Sean Diddy Combs to serve at least 11 years in prison for transporting people for prostitution. Combs was found guilty on 2 counts but was cleared of more serious charges like sex trafficking and racketeering. Prosecutors said Combs was violent and controlling, leaving victims scared. They highlighted Casey Ventura, who was hurt during their relationship with Combs, and said he caused decades of harm, both physically and emotionally. Combs' lawyers called the recommended sentence too harsh, saying it ignores the acquittals and is essentially lock him up and throw away the key. Victims wrote letters asking the judge for a strong sentence. Ventura said the decision should reflect the damage Combs caused and the courage it took to speak out. Another former employee said the sentence should show that victims' lives and voices matter. Combs is said to be sentenced this Friday. YouTube will pay President Trump $24 million, settling a lawsuit over his account ban. Trump sued after his channel was suspended in 2021 following the January 6th riot, with YouTube citing concerns about potential violence. His account was later reinstated in 2023. The settlement makes YouTube the last major tech platform to resolve a case with Trump, who also sued Meta and Twitter for banning him after January 6th. Meta paid $25 million and Twitter, now X, paid about $10 million. Most of the YouTube settlement, $22 million, will go toward building a new White House ballroom. Other plaintiffs, including the American Conservative Union, will receive $2.5 million. Trump has also reached settlements with major media companies, including Paramount Global and Disney, over various disputes, and continues legal actions against Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. And that is all for now. The top stories of the day, no fluff and straight to the point. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. I'm Kat Pokras, and I'll see you next time.